Yo, we online, yeah?
We're good. We're good.
Yeah.
My guy. So what's this one, Sam?
Hey, boy,
This
2020
is
is coming to an end.
2020 review.
It's mad, bro. It's been a crazy year, man. I know, obviously, we'll get to the boxing, yeah, but it's actually been a crazy year.
Bro,
Man, I landed from traveling, yeah. In 2019, I traveled. I got back to Heathrow Airport the day I landed. I heard about the stuff that's happening in with Soleimani and the USA. That's what started the year for me in this country. And then ever since then, it's just been a roller coaster, man.
Non-stop.
I lie.
One thing after the next.
Bro, do you know,
We still
like,
don't know what's gonna happen next.
as well, yeah, Saturday, I was mad busy on Saturday, yeah, running around doing bare stuff. I got home, sat down, and then my wife was like, "Oh, Boris Johnson's doing a press conference." She was looking at her phone. I think I said to myself, I was like, "Oh, he's not going to announce nothing." The news on.
Little did you know.
Put the news on. Oh yeah, London and the South East is getting into tier 4. Quickly, you know, go on the social media, find out what tier 4 is. All you see is everything's closed.
Knock off. Bare red crosses.
Oh,
And it's interesting because he only gave the country 7 hours, innit? I saw reports the next day that people were running to train stations trying to get out of London.
bro.
Imagine that. It's mad.
So does that mean now that there's a new strand, that the current vaccine that they created is obsolete now, or they need to start again?
What they're saying is that the vaccine will still work, but considering, I'm very careful because I don't want to get this video, like, I don't want to get the FBI kicking down man's door, innit? Get some MI5 guys coming through man's window.
It's true.
But basically, what Boris Johnson's saying, and all them Chris Whitty and everyone, they're saying that the vaccine should still work. But I just have one big question, that, you know, this other strand seems to have been discovered in the last 2-3 weeks. So how do you know?
Yeah. And we're still going through testing of like loads of other factors.
And also, why has another strand come out of London? Like, that's the, like, what about the London environment has caused this other strand?
Drill music, fam. That's a really. We're just tougher here, bro. We're just tougher here, man. We needed.
But what's actually happened? And you know what's peak now is that, like you said, all them people. We'll get to the boxing in a minute, but all them people who are in London and have dispersed to the shires. Bro, they're taking the strand with them.
Yeah, real talk.
They're taking the strand with them. So,
real talk.
I don't know, man. I don't know. But, yeah, I don't know. The vaccine thing, I've stopped worrying about.
This is what I say.
I'll stop worrying about the vaccine.
This is what I say. You have to sleep. You have to sleep with one eye open in 2020, bro. You don't know what's going to happen next. You just don't know.
Samson tried to come down.
I didn't even know there was a tier 4.
Yeah. Because sleep is the cousin of death.
I didn't even know there was a tier 4.
Pastor Sam.
Bro.
Trust me, I said sleep.
Did you man know there was a tier 4 though?
It was announced on Saturday, bro. It was created on Saturday.
That's what I'm trying to say. There was like, before we knew there was like 3 tiers, right?
Yeah,
bro.
It came out of nowhere.
This tier 4 was concocted out of nowhere. Like,
hey, bro. At the end of the day, yeah, when you're prime minister, that's what you can do, innit?
Yeah, real talk. Real talk.
Man
rebranded national lockdown and called it tier 4.
Bro, that one's there, bro. Yeah, he was just like, you know what? We need a new thing. Just slap tier 4 on it.
Yeah. The way my gym texted me, yeah, was very abrupt. Like, it was like, we can't open next month. We'll holler at you later, innit? That was it. Everyone's lost patience.
Yeah, man. But yeah, even though it was a shortened year, though, there was still boxing. It was a good year for boxing.
Boxing persevered.
So this is the first annual After the Bell
good
Awards.
year for boxing.
After the Bell Awards, I love that.
After the Bell Awards. So
what categories have we got?
What's the first category? We're going for? Hold on.
First category is Fight of the Year.
Fight of the Year.
Fight of the Year.
Okay. So fight of the year.
second,
So,
yeah,
no, let's do category by category. Let's keep them
second
waiting.
category.
Let's keep them waiting. Let's keep them involved.
We'll start off with that one, yeah.
Yeah.
Let's start with that one, yeah. So what we say? Are we
Okay,
going
let's
to
keep
judge?
it waiting. Let's keep it waiting.
Are we going to judge fight of the year on the quality of the fight or what
The significance of it,
the significance,
the
of it?
seismic,
Okay.
the seismic shake that it had
Okay.
on boxing, and it's got people talking to this day.
Okay.
There's no other fight that we can discuss.
I think we know where Samson's going.
This guy's
There's no
passionate,
other
boy.
fight we can talk about. Oh my days! The Bronze Bomber versus Tyson Fury has got to be the fight of the year, man.
Bro,
State your case.
I mean-
State your case.
state your case, my guy.
I mean, the story continued, didn't it? It started off in what 2015 when my guy Tyson Fury hung up his gloves and was on the brink of, suicide, drugs, and all that sort of stuff. He was on the cliff, And meanwhile, we had a fighter from Alabama, Deontay Wilder, who was literally, his vibranium right hand was knocking out people left, right, and center. And that's when he captured the title as well, innit? The WBC in 2015. So we can start off from there. So whilst my guy Tyson Fury was putting on weight, snorting cocaine, Wilder was knocking man out just at will. So he was doing that for what, a good 4 or 5 years before he met his match in Tyson Fury. Tyson Fury came back losing, I don't know how much he lost, but he lost a significant amount.
Oh, he lost.
And
Yeah.
a hell of a lot
Yeah.
of weight. He he more or less won the fight against Wilder. Everybody was expecting Wilder to lay him out cold. He effectively won, if not for the 2 knockdowns, which made it a controversial draw. And then it made way for the big fight in February this year. I thought, and many thought, I think that Wilder was going to just finish him off this time. That's what I thought. But Tyson Fury had different plans. And he battered him from pillar to post. Like, I've never seen such a dominant performance in my life. Do you know what I mean? And the reason why I think it's so significant is because of the story of Tyson Fury and also the controversy around it. To this day, people are still talking about, whether Wilder wants to fight or not. Why has Wilder not pursued the fight anymore? Because he was the biggest and baddest man on the planet since 2015. And again, it now shifted the focus from Anthony Joshua, who's another champion, and Wilder. It shifted it now to Anthony Joshua and Tyson Fury. And that wasn't according to the script. The script, it was meant to be the script was Anthony Joshua versus Wilder. But now that's all flipped. So I think because of the plot twist, the story behind it, and the dramatic fashion that in which the way Tyson Fury won makes it, for me, like the most impactful fight this year. I've still watched that fight.
I can't lie. That is a strong case, man. That is a strong case. And I'll continue, yeah, because I actually agree with everything you said in terms of how much it shifted the focus of the division, how good the fight actually was, how it broke expectations. And I've been very transparent about what I like in boxing, in the sense that I like the story, the kind of the rivalry, the sagas, like, and how losses and things like that can change a person, like the champion mindset. And that's kind of why I like boxing. And this fight delivered on that. Like, Fury coming back from the depression and being at a low, and then being able to fight, work hard, and do that whole Rocky story of training, and then coming and defeating the guy, but not just Like he defeated him in like incredible fashion, but also displayed his skill, like the craft of boxing. It wasn't just like a quick knockout. It was a really good display of tactics, strategy, teamwork. And he just came out on top. I think that was the best fight of the year.
Yeah, I think I'd agree. Yeah, I think it was fight of the year. The only fact that I think you'd probably have to give honourable mention to is Teofimo Lopez versus Lomachenko.
Absolutely.
Because
absolutely.
This was, I think the Fury Wilder one was more of a seismic shake-up in the heavyweight landscape, definitely. But I feel like Teofimo Lopez, he's definitely shaken up what a lot of people thought about boxing. In the sense that Lomachenko was the top of a lot of people's pound-for-pound lists, and he's had about 15 fights, professional fights. And Teofimo Lopez, in my opinion, went in there and clearly beat him. And now we got Lomachenko who's been sipping that Wilder juice, talking about he thinks he won the fight and he was robbed and blah, blah, blah. And the interesting thing is, the Lomachenko who was number 1 on the pound-for-pound list, he's dropped from people's pound. He's not even in the top 10s anymore. So I would just mention that one as well. And that sets up that division very nicely with all those young guys, hot names around. It sets up the fights nicely. Lomachenko, I'm not going to say he's out of the picture, but it almost makes it a more level playing field when everyone faces off against each other. But yeah, I think we're probably unanimous in it being Fury versus Wilder.
Agreed.
So there you go, Tyson Fury. You didn't win Sports Personality of the Year, but you've won a more prestigious award.
And the first of its kind as well.
Right. So
the next one was Fighter of the Year.
Yeah.
So most fighters have only had one fight this year. So this is going to be quite an interesting one.
So I was thinking about this one, and I was thinking about, in terms of the Fighter of the Year, what sort of hallmarks are we going to be using for that? I feel like, again, we've got to look at the expectations people had going into that fight regarding that individual, the outcome of the fight, and the fashion in the way they went about that fight. And also, again, the opposition, because every great fight has great opposition. And I think for me, I would have to go for Teofimo, Fighter of the Year. Considering 15 fights, like you mentioned, up against pound for pound the best, who makes people quit, not as experienced, but went into the ring and showed grit, determination. He was winning a fight, but when Lomachenko tried to take him into deep waters and drown him, Teofimo had the answers as well to come back, and he became unified champion of that division, the youngest, 23 years old. For me, that is just incredible. If he was a little bit more popular, people will be ranting and raving about that as probably one of the best performances. But I think in years to come, people are going to look back and say, wow, that was actually a great performance. People haven't really deeped it yet, how big a performance that was.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. I think, I don't think people have given him this. I think at the time he got a lot of credit, but I don't think people have given him the credit he probably deserves.
Yeah.
In hindsight, and I think the issue is because I think everyone is very, I alluded to it in the last category. Everyone is very segmented in who they are backing out of, Teofimo Lopez, Lomachenko, Devin Haney, Ryan Garcia, Gervonta Davis. Everyone has sort of picked their fighter. And it's like you can't give anyone else credit. And I think Haney, Garcia, put it this way, I think before the Lomachenko fight, Lopez was possibly the least popular of them all.
Yeah.
and probably had the smallest section of people behind. I don't know. People will probably disagree with me. But I think what he did is he took on one of the more popular ones and more established, and he's got the statement win out of that whole bunch of people now. So I'll go for him. Yeah, he's come up and he's shaken things up in a big way. And obviously he has the potential now to be around for a lot of years. To move up through divisions. So yeah.
Yeah, same man. I agree. He done a lot, man, to get the attention. And you're right. He's young. He's got a long way ahead of him. And I think he's set up for an exciting career. So he's definitely one to watch. And I agree with you both.
So I think again we're unanimous on the Fight of the Year, Teofimo Lopez.
Yeah.
So this is a good one now. I think we're going to get disagreement on this one. Knockout of the Year.
Mad. You might have to go first, bro.
Knockout of the Year for me is Povetkin. That knockout that he delivered to Dillian Whyte, it was almost like something you would see out of a movie. This old guy. Most people saw it as a fight that Whyte would get through pretty simple. Povetkin was seen as this old guy who was just here to sort of make up the numbers. And then the punch in itself, that, I think in the commentary, they were even talking about, Whyte's coming into the fight now. And then Povetkin hits him with such a sweet shot. But it's not just the shot. It's the way Whyte tumbles. He tumbles like a tree falling in the forest. He just collapses. The Matchroom signage on the side goes flying in Barry Hearn's garden. And Dillian Whyte was out cold. And the reason why there was no fans there, all you could hear was Povetkin's corner cheering, like, yes. That, for me, that was knockout of the year. It was unexpected. And it was just, it was picture perfect. And it's funny as well that, in the build-up, it was a lot of old man talk. But yeah, Povetkin got the job done there. And that knockout, it's just, I watch it all the time. It's just beautiful. And they made, a couple months later, they made Dillian Whyte watch it on Sky, which I thought was a bit of a savage move, really. I'll be pretty unhappy if I was him about that. But the other reason is for Eddie Hearn saying that he thought Dillian Whyte was up at 8, which has been disproven. Dillian Whyte was, I think he was down at 18, let alone 8. But yeah, the way that he tumbled like a tree was just, it was delicious.
I said it was delicious.
A few years ago, Whyte would have won this award for his knockout of Chisora, probably. But this is how boxing goes.
This guy's hungry for blood. Man called it delicious.
And anyone can get it.
I gotta give knockout of the year to Gervonta, man.
Okay.
To Gervonta Davis.
Yep.
Very, very similar to Povetkin's knockout. But again, similar to maybe because I didn't watch the fight, Dillian Whyte, but I was watching the Gervonta Davis fight, and it was just unexpected. And when he delivered that beast of a, what was it again? Was it a right hand? A right hand uppercut.
It was an uppercut.
It was an uppercut.
A right hand uppercut, fam. The pandemonium. It was nuts. It was crazy. And similar to Dillian Whyte, my man Sanchez, he looked like he gave up the ghost.
Bro.
He gave it
Real
up
talk.
like there and then. Like he just left. He left the realm. It was just unexpected. And because Gervonta Davis was actually, I had Gervonta Davis losing, and when you're losing, you have to dig deep. My man dug deep and he delivered. That's why that's picture perfect. And when they say you're one punch away from winning a fight.
Yep.
Do you know what I mean? So it was similar to. It was very similar. The uppercut was very similar to the one when Povetkin gave to Dillian White. But I think because I was actually watching that fight and it just came out of nowhere,
Yeah,
I swear I blinked and he was on the ground.
yeah.
Devastating.
Just to
Devastating.
add to that, I agree. I think the knockout of the year is Davis Cruz, and I mean, there's not much I can say after what Samson said yet, but I remember that
Did I
both of
say
the fighters were very active.
Sanchez? Santa Cruz.
Santa Cruz,
I said Sanchez.
but yeah, so they were both active. They were both throwing punches. Like, you're right, it could have gone either way, and it's just a great example of it can just happen at any moment. And the fact that they were both active, they were both landing bangs, they were both, and then he just came with the uppercut and folded him. And the thing that I remember thinking when I saw it was, that's like fight night, bro. You know, in fight night when you knock someone out and their legs all folded, like they're in the corner, their legs near their head and that, like it's all mad angles. Like that's exactly what it was. He popped him, and he just literally he went to sleep straight away. It was mad. It's mad. You don't really get to see much of those, and his hand was like flew out the ring. It was crazy. So that for me, knockout of the year.
Boy, it looks like
Getting back to,
I've been outvoted, so Gervonta Davis wins the KO of the year. Now this
Honorable mention to Nate Robinson in it.
Oh, Jake! Actually, no. Jake pulls him with a shout slightly.
Yeah, that's honorable mention.
I heard people were accusing Jake Paul of racism for knocking Nate Robinson out. So. Boy,
it was bad. It was bad.
So should we do disappointment of the year?
So this one was a bit difficult, wasn't it?
So we can either choose
disappointing, like fight
or a fight. I think for me, the disappointment of the year.
I think I know what you're gonna say.
I think for me, it's probably Daniel Dubois. Because I thought he would have more tools in his toolbox to deal with Joe. I thought there was more to him than what he showed in that fight with Joe Joyce. And I feel like I was probably a bit conned into the hype around Daniel Dubois, that he was like this golden child who was just steamrolling people. So for me, the way that he lost to Joe Joyce was probably the most disappointed I think I've been after the end of a fight this year. Obviously, there's probably been fights that if I rack my brains, I can think there've probably been the fight generally has been a disappointment because it's been boring. But Dubois was definitely my disappointment of the year.
That's okay. Fair enough. I was gonna say Anthony Yard. However, considering the year that he's had personally as well,
yeah,
I wouldn't be too harsh on him. So I would say disappointment of the year is actually Tunde Ajayi. I would say Tunde Ajayi. Because I feel I don't know why you guys are laughing. I'll say Tunde Ajayi. Yeah, he's part of boxing. He's part of the boxing community. So
yeah, you go for it. Yeah.
I feel like when your fighter is clearly he's reached his limit of what he can do in a fight, or you think he's not doing what he's supposed to be doing, you're there to be like that third eye to give him guidance and wisdom. And that fight against Arthur, he should have beaten him. This has clearly damaged to some degree the express train that Anthony Yard had behind him, and the momentum and the confidence that people had in him as a good fighter. He is a good fighter, but I feel like he's been let down by Tunde Ajayi by not giving him the sufficient wisdom and support that he needs to actually, become that fan favorite boxer. And I feel also that you don't need a trainer who doesn't learn from mistakes. The biggest fight he had against Kovalev was last year. You would have thought that, Tunde Ajayi would have learned a lot from that and provided a lot more wisdom and guidance to Yard in the fight against Arthur, but he didn't. He hadn't learned. And I don't think you need a trainer who's going to be all up in the videos, dancing. You get where I'm going, man. So I'll say Tunde Ajayi. I'll say Tunde Ajayi is the biggest disappointment
That was sick. That was
Man's
sick.
got Bugsy Malone. Man's got Bugsy Malone coming for his fighter now.
Bro, man, you trust me. It's mad. Man
He's all up in the video. Like, come on, man. Just chill out,
Bro,
man.
do you know what?
Take the back seat.
That might be the after the bell moment of the year still. That was funny. Yeah, I think.
So you think? Yeah.
Yeah, for me, I think mine's gonna be less technical, man. I think my disappointment of the year is the way they handled Tyson and Roy Jones. And maybe it's because, yeah, I don't know, man. Maybe it's because of the expectations that I had in it, and the way that the fight was handled, in the sense that, you know, there was this huge build up and whatnot, and then the rules itself just kind of flopped it for me. Yeah, man. I'd say that just didn't.
Right.
That just kind of proper touched my expectations in a different way. Yeah, man. So for me, it's Tyson.
Mm-hmm.
The Tyson fight.
Right.
So,
You was expecting it to be like a fan-friendly throwdown.
Yeah, man. And Roy didn't really do much, man. And Snoop Dogg was commentating, bro. It was a bit of a mess still. It was a bit of a mess, bro. And I was really looking forward to it.
Yeah.
Another just one other because I know we're split on this one, so I'll add another one into the mix. Another big disappointment for me was the lack of the lack of gracious losers this year. It seems like every time someone loses this year, there's an excuse, or it's a robbery, or someone was cheating, or it seems like every big fight that comes out of there's something of that now, right? It's like Wilder's excuses are very well very well documented.
Bro, that's a good shout,
So that's very disappointing. But generally in boxing now, it just seems to be the way of the world that if you lost, it wasn't about the other guy being good. It was about something you did wrong or that they cheated, because we've seen Wilder, Yard, who you mentioned, that was come out as a robbery. Even though both he and Tunde Ajayi said they scored it 7-5. So a bit of a straight
that Bugsy Malone thing is jokes.
Yeah.
That Bugsy Malone, that's jokes.
Bit of a strange robbery there. We've got Usyk now talking about there was some funny business in the stuff leading up to the Chisora fight. Even though he won, Lomachenko's come out with excuses. Some boxers need to learn to take the L, man.
Yeah, real talk. Like, that's actually a really good shot. 100%.
Can I add to the an honourable mention to the fight of the year? And I forgot to mention this. But Errol Spence, man, after coming back from that car crash, and I know obviously he's my guy and whatnot, but we have to acknowledge that, man. We have to acknowledge that. October looking battered and bruised, and in December 2020, remaining welterweight champion against a world-class opponent in Danny Garcia. So I just wanted to put that out there as well, man.
I think that's a fair one.
Yeah, 100%.
So that's an undecided one. If you watch this, let us know what you think disappointment was. Shock of the year.
Shock of the year.
So I think
shock of the year.
Shock of the year for me, I think will be that we actually managed to get some boxing this year. In a sport where the fighters seem to be predominantly paid on like gates, and there's no gates, and we saw pretty much all of the big names this year get out and fight. Granted, some of them were before any kind of lockdown and COVID restrictions anywhere in the world, but I think we've all seen most of the fighters we'd want to see this year.
Yeah.
Get out on all the big names. I think that's probably surprised me quite a bit. I know we didn't get to see Fury at the end of the year, which seemed to be some sort of problem with getting the finances together. Hopefully that's not something that will continue. But yeah, I think that's what had been the biggest shock to me, because I sort of had the year as a write-off, really. But when the Joshua fight got delayed, and then You know, Eddie Hearn was doing fights in the Matchroom Garden. I was like, where's this going, really? But it turned out to be a good year.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
agreed.
I think that's a fair point. I think again, just to go back to the excuses thing, I think that's been a shock of the year as well. Some of the excuses some of these boxers come up with, particularly Wilder, man. That Mark Breland spiking my water, the costume being too heavy. It's just been very, very shocking.
Getting an egg-shaped bump on his head.
Literally, you know, that poem. But yeah, I would say that's another shock of the year. Wilder's excuses.
Yeah, I think also, do you know what else actually? I'm just thinking about it. You mentioned it a moment ago. Do you know what I'm actually shocked at as well? Mike Tyson actually came out of retirement.
Yeah.
No, do you know how long this has been rumored for that he's going to come out, and he actually came out of retirement?
100%.
Which is crazy because, again, like I mentioned, I think it was on the previous one episode that I remember being in school and people used to, on college or whatever, and people used to run Mike Tyson going to come back, and here he is, 2020, and he's come back.
Here he is,
shock of the year?
and he's going to come back as well.
Yeah, for real.
Little man.
Little man and some boxing, of course.
Bro, another shock of the year.
Little man
is when that commentator was talking about when that pundit was talking about Black Lives Matter, yeah, and he skipped past David Hay to go to the white guy to talk about Black Lives Matter.
We need to put a link in the bio so people can.
That was shock of the year, man. That was shock of the year, bro.
Yeah, that was pretty bad.
That's weird, man. That's weird. So just a quick one. Are we gonna do fights that we want to see in 2020 in a different episode, or?
No, let's do that now. If we choose one fight, I think we can get that out.
So one fight each, yeah? Because I think we're all going to be agreed on what we want to see.
One fight. Yeah. Well, let's see, let's see. That Usyk versus Chisora rematch is looking...
My man's breathing, boy. My man wants to see that. My man's panting for it.
I was leaning forward, yeah.
I'm excited, bro. I'm excited. I want to see that.
Hey, that is jokes.
Yeah, no, I hear that.
Well, I think there's two fights, isn't there, that everyone wants to see. The two main ones that jump out at me is Fury Joshua. Everyone wants to see.
Yeah.
Let's get that made, man. Let's get that made.
Yeah.
There's a lot of talking at the moment, but in lockdown they were all put. I think it was Fury or Fury's team put out a thing saying terms have been agreed. So I don't really get what all the negotiations are for now, but I'm not a promoter or an insider, so there must be more details to negotiate, or I don't know, maybe they're stringing us all along. But that needs to happen, Hopefully he can keep hold of all the belts. Joshua doesn't have to vacate anything. Doesn't have to do that Usyk fight, so we can get an undisputed champion.
Yep.
So yeah, that would be the one for me. Go on, I think you say something.
Yeah, no, that would be the one for me as well, man. Let's make that fight happen. I'm really looking forward to it. It's going to be a really big moment in boxing.
Yeah, and I think just to conclude matters in the welterweight division, let's get Crawford versus Errol Spence, man.
Yeah.
I mean, one thing this year's taught us is that we don't know what's around the corner. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So let's just get that. Let's get that debate sorted out once and for all, and then everybody can get on with their lives.
And a quick,
I'm not getting on my life regardless, but
Yeah, quick honorable mention. I saw a newspaper clipping that showed that Andy Ruiz has been training hard in it, and he said Joshua's got trouble coming his way. So he's training, he's lost weight. He said Joshua that he's coming for him. So who knows, man? We might have that next year as well.
I think who knows, man. I think just on the Crawford Spence one is also just get over this other side of the street business.
Yeah, that needs to stop.
get over that, man. Like, you know, this is your legacy at stake here. You know, stop talking about willing to fight Canelo, because I don't think that's a very realistic fight, to be honest. That's really going to be considered.
Focus on cleaning that division.
Exactly. And
Focus on
Crawford,
cleaning that division first.
they're both talking about they don't want to do 50-50. I saw something at the weekend where Spence was like, he wants it 70-30 in his favor, which is just like, come on, guys. Like, let's get this going. I understand we've all got to get paid. Everyone wants to eat. Like, I want to eat. Oh, damn. Yeah, I want to eat. I thought I lost you guys there still. Like, I want to eat, innit? But, you know, let's get this made, man. Let's get this made.
And also, Bob Arum and Al Heyman, get your act together, man. Let's make it happen.
And Bob Arum, start showing Crawford some respect as well, man. Because you're old, don't think you can get away with that, you know? Also, one other shock of the year for me was when someone in Terence Crawford's team told Kell Brook to go back to New Zealand.
It's been a fun year, man.
I don't even know if he's been New Zealand.
Before Daniel gets us cancelled, man. How long we got left?
2 minutes left, man. I say that was the first inaugural After the Bell Awards. But yeah, man, that was the first award session, man.
Let us know what you think. Let us know what you think in the comment section.
For sure.
If you agree with us or disagree with us.
All right, man. Peace.
Easy.